Smoking is injurious to your health.
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 All them kids that smoked, I gotta quit.
Prior to the 1970s, ads like these were fairly common in US. However, soon after the passing of Public Health Cigarette Smoking Act, cigarette advertisements were banned from televisions and radios, and it wasn't until the year 1999 when cigarette ads were totally banned from magazines, newspapers, and billboards and were replaced by anti-smoking campaigns. All of this started when the first Surgeon General's report was published in 1964 based on over 7,000 research articles that linked tobacco use with lung cancer and other diseases. According to the latest World Health Organization estimates, 27% of the US population are current smokers and 15.2% of the US population are daily smokers. These numbers translate to more than 84 million smokers in the US right now.
I think smoking is harmful because the epidemiology is crystal clear. They all show that in cohort studies that people who smoke are much more likely to die from a set of diseases than people who don't smoke. Cigarette smoking remains the single leading preventable cause of death in the United States. From 430,000 to 470,000 people die every year from cigarette smoking in the United States. The healthcare costs are about $100 billion a year. On top of that, we add what we call indirect economic costs, which are the costs of people who can no longer go to work, either because they're sick or they've died prematurely. And that's about another $100 billion a year. Actually, smoking costs our society about $200 billion every year.
Despite all the bans and tons of information floating around, people still continue to smoke. So let us now survey some of the individuals' opinion.
I started smoking when I was 17. I did it primarily because I was just out hanging out with friends late at night, sneaking out, kind of doing, I guess, just a rebellious thing. And started smoking before I knew it. I was hooked on the nicotine and learned that I really enjoyed it, whether it was with my friends or not.
Well, it started when I was in high school. And at first it was just, just for fun. But, I didn't know it was so addictive.
Probably about 6 years ago, actually. Just between friends smoking and then alcohol influence, I guess, at the time.
I smoked cigarettes after drinking. Your inhibitions are down, which maybe isn't necessarily an issue for me, but I'm more impulsive maybe when I'm drinking. So if I want a cigarette, I want a cigarette. I don't really think twice about it.
Another thing about it is, when I'm drinking, it goes with the smoke. And when somebody gets you upset over something, when you're mad about something, to me, it calms me down. Instead of getting angry and starting something, I just smoke and just.
I don't smoke because smoke would cause lung cancers, heart disease, and stroke, and any other disease.
Lung cancer, blood clots, heart disease, bronchitis, all of it.
Lung cancer and about a dozen other cancers, heart disease and many other cardiovascular diseases, chronic respiratory diseases, pregnancy complications, and then fires are really the major smoking attributable diseases. And in some parts of the world, tuberculosis. There's a dose-response relationship between how long a person has smoked and their risk of dying from a smoking attributable disease. There's a dose-response relationship between how many cigarettes that person smokes each day and their risk from dying from a smoking attributable disease.
I have attempted to quit on numerous occasions. I've attempted to quit through electronic nicotine cigarettes, which I've actually found to help, but they're expensive and I lose them quite often. My problem with quitting is it gives me some sort of sense of security or like a sense of, it breaks boredom. So like even if I don't feel like smoking every day, the second I have to walk to the store or the second I have to go outside and go somewhere, the urge, whether it's a biological nicotine addiction urge or just a mental one, creeps in there, and I feel really unstimulated and not happy with what I'm doing unless I have a cigarette on my way towards something.
I attempted, and it was difficult. I mean, the way I did it was I just weaned myself off, kind of. So I went from smoking like a pack a day to smoking maybe once every 4 hours. And while doing that, I found myself looking at the clock more, like what time is it, you know? So at that point, when I became so obsessed with the time, I was like, well, let me just try to stop, you know?
I tried for like 2 weeks. And when I smell it, smell it was bad. You know, for the 2 weeks that I quit, it was a bad smell that I didn't like. You know, but for some reason I get back on it, and it's very addictive. It's not something that I'm proud of, be doing, but it became a habit.
If you want to quit smoking, you've got to do three things. You have to want to quit smoking. You have to be willing to make some changes in your life. And then you have to be willing to put up with the possibility of some temporary discomfort. There are withdrawal symptoms. We have quit lines in our country. Quit lines are telephone lines that people can call up. If they just call 1-800-QUIT-NOW, they can also get some nicotine replacement. That a 2-week supply has been shown to help some people quit smoking. There are some good sites on the web, and the Quit Line coaches can refer people to those. By raising the price, by denormalizing smoking, by making it so smoking isn't cool anymore, and by doing really good media campaigns. That those are three ways in which we can make cigarette smoking less attractive. I am the son of a man who quit smoking the day the first Surgeon General's report came out in 1964, and of a woman who didn't. My mother died of lung cancer in 1979. And there I really realized that I needed to quit smoking. And I switched to light cigarettes. I started smoking light cigarettes and menthol cigarettes just to think that maybe I wouldn't be at as much risk. But after I studied the epidemiology and the biology, I quickly decided that I needed to quit. Now, it took me 2 or 3 years after I decided to quit where I actually did it, but I figured it out, and I've been off 32 years now, so I'm very happy about that.